We're following some breaking news right now. Check this out.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up out of your sleep, wake up out of your sleep, wake up, I command you in the name of Jesus, wake up out of your sleep, wake up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast, where everything is going on. Okay, we had some days there where it was light in the loafers as far as, we had some slow news days. Okay, and then I wake up today and it's like, holy crap. Okay, it's been a busy news day today, dude. Brisket, what's up, brother? Brisket one, what's up? White Blue Eye, what's up? Brofist, and welcome in, everybody. Man, I accidentally set the wrong intro, so I had to play the right intro right after. Okay, that one always puts a smile on my face, man. But I tell you what won't put a smile on your face is some of the talk, some of the things that are going on out there. I mean, a ton of it, really. Dude, I mean, I don't know if you're reading this right here that's on the screen. Okay, this is just for starters. I was going to say, let's get into some light news. How about that? Doobie12, what's up, brother? Good to see you over there on the Rumble chat. I'll be listening while I walk to the liquor store. All right. That sounds kind of appropriate. Okay. All right. This let's just dive in. Let's just jump in. Okay. We'll jump in the deep end. All right. Well, what I would say, let's start with some light news. Astronomers say Earth is currently flying through a debris field. Okay, from a hidden asteroid that is breaking apart near the sun. If that doesn't immediately remind you of the movie Don't Look Up, have you seen Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio and that J-Law, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. Isn't that her? Katniss Everdeen? Man, I'm just going to put that on your radar. I don't have a ton to say about it, okay, because you'll definitely find something else to watch if I tell you what I think, okay? But yeah, so just for starters here, just getting started. All right, let's keep moving on. More into the conflict, right? What's going on? Marine given this meal on board USS Tripoli per USA. Semper Fi? ? Check that meal out. How's that look? You know where the USS Tripoli is. It's over there near the Gulf of Oman and near the Strait of Hormuz and all that, with the conflict. But look, it gets better. The dinner on the USS Abraham, okay, the USS Abraham Lincoln, families of service members. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me try to. Family of service members in Middle East trying to send care packages, but deliveries indefinitely suspended as of April. Okay, check that out. How's that look? Mrs. Unspecified said, "What even is that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a piece of the thigh of whoever's misbehaving. I don't know. It doesn't look good. Okay. Cookies, deodorant, socks. Iran war puts military packages in limbo. Thousands of boxes sent to service members in Middle East are stuck in limbo. The Postal Service has indefinitely suspended delivery amid Iran war. I don't know, man. It's looking pretty bleak, man. It's looking a lot like our financial futures. I'm just kidding. It's pretty bad looking. Okay. All right. That's just for starters. All right. We'll start to transition here into some of the meat of what's going on. Okay. We've got some words from Trump, President Trump here. Let me see here. All right. I've got a few clips here I want to play, and it kind of plays into a trend, and I hope you guys can pick up what I'm putting down. All right. Trump says the Iran war is going swimmingly. We can do whatever we want.
Anymore. I don't think anybody, just ask those. I don't want to be a wise guy. I don't want to speak too soon, but we do very well. You notice that we're doing very well. And I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want.
Now, it was a little weird saying it, but he did say it.
Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want.
Golf and Guns, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I just wanted to pop in here real quick and hang out a little bit, okay? Because I've got a little theme I'm noticing, along with all the other news that I saw. CEOs are stepping down. There's going to be, people in the federal government stepping down. There's a lot going on right now, okay? Seems like some kind of great shaking is going on. But pay attention to what he says here, okay? He says the Iran war is going swimmingly, right? And we can do whatever we want.
Swimmingly, we can do whatever we want.
All right. It kind of plays into a theme here. Try to follow along. All right. Trump said, we have consultants. Sir, if you do this, fuel is going to $300 a barrel. The depression is going to happen. Okay. Remember, he thinks we can do whatever we want. All right.
It's amazing. I had people, we have consultants, great guys that we both know, we see, they're very talented. Sir, if you do this, fuel is going to go to $300 a barrel, right? One guy in particular who we like a lot. But I said, I don't think so. I think we're going to be good. We always find a way. You got to find a way. But, sir, don't do it, sir. $300 a barrel. It's going to be a wild thing. It's going to be horrible. The depression is going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen because we just hit a brand new all-time high. Then fuel's at 89. It's actually a lot lower than that in a lot of areas. So, but let's not get away from, let's see what happens over the next week or so. I think you're going to be very impressed. And if you are, vote for the Republicans in the midterms, okay?
Okay. Because we can, I don't know if you know who's funding a lot of these folks. All right. But it's trackable, right? You can see their donors. All right. All right. All right. We've got Mr. Besant here. All right. Just to fall in line with this trend. I hope you heard that, guys. Okay. Why aren't people feeling better about the economy?
Why aren't we seeing this sentiment? Why aren't people feeling better?
Well, I when I was in the investment business, there are consumer surveys, but I used to look at what are the people really doing. So at Treasury, we have loads of CEOs come through, whether they're in retail, credit card, the banks, and the consumer, while they may be sounding grim, is actually quite buoyant. Mm-hmm. So we are seeing spending has been very solid across most categories.
So they may not feel good, but...
Well, look, in their heart of hearts, they feel good. I'm not sure what they're telling the survey people.
Why?
You guys feeling good? You feeling good? Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it moving here. All right. Now here's some funny stuff here. Steve Bannon, all right, huge advocate of President Trump's third term. What are your thoughts on that?
But a final question is: J.D. Vance heir to the MAGA movement? Is he the heir apparent?
I don't think MAGA has President Trump, and as you know, I'm a huge advocate of President Trump's third term. So right now, I think
you're not just saying that to mess with J.D.
No, not at all. I think you guys all paid your taxes here yesterday. Are there anyone in the room would not vote for President Trump and what he's trying to do with this economy? President Trump is...
I can't imagine, but we're out of time, so we'll have to pick that up. Thank you, Steve. But a final question.
All right. Very interesting, very interesting. I have a clip from Professor Zhang here, regardless of what you think. Here.
Is flirting with the idea of running for a third term. J.D. Vance, they're trying to separate it. Okay, so he's going to... Can you explain how is that going to work? Is it because it's wartime?
Look, I think Donald Trump has been very clear about this. He is going to get a third term. And the reason why is that if he ever steps out of office, the Democrats come to power, the first and only thing that Democrats are going to do is persecute this guy to death, okay? Yeah. I mean, think about what happened to him, like when he left office in 2020, right? There was a FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. because he had some classified documents that everyone in Washington has, right? So everything in Washington, D.C. is classified. And like they didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton for having a private email server, which is against, law. They didn't prosecute Joe Biden for having classified documents in his garage in Delaware. So clearly this was a political persecution, right? So you had that FBI raid in Mar-a-Lago. You have lawfare, where 6 attorney generals were trying to prosecute Donald Trump. You had these lawsuits that were trying to bankrupt Donald Trump. So like, if Donald Trump were ever to leave office, the Democrats would just make his life a living hell. They would not just go after him, but they would go after his immediate family, right? Because remember, Don Jr. is involved in a lot of cryptocurrency shenanigans. There's been a lot of insider trading in the Trump White House this past year, and it's all very blatant. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that this is all insider trading. So there are a lot of court cases that they can file against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump understands this. He understands. Look. I'm doing all this. I know that if I leave office, I'll be prosecuted by the Democrats. So I won't leave office. It's that simple. Okay. And a lot of pieces are already in place for his third term. So, for example, he's turning ICE into his basically private secret police, his private police force, and he's expanding their powers. He's talked about deploying National Guard throughout the country. He might use this war to suspend the Constitution. There might be a false flag attack. In 2028, he could technically run as a vice president and have his son, Don Jr., as the presidential nominee. Believe it or not, but there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents you from doing this. It's immoral, but it's not illegal.
Interesting concept, to say the least. Okay. If that happened, I'd be shocked. Okay. I'm going to be a little jaw on the floor. Okay. A little bit. All right. That's not all, though. Okay. Troy Nels compares President Trump to Jesus Christ, saying he's almost like a second coming. This is crazy.
I do. I believe that Donald Trump is better than sliced bread. I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got a very difficult job. Pope's got a tough job, got issues in the church.
Okay, man. I mean,
I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got a very difficult job. He's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think that's a little wild. Okay, that's a little wild. And I've got a few clips here to dive in on a little bit of the, that AI post that they made. I wanted to touch a little bit more on that. But before that, let's get to everybody's favorite annoying. This dude, I don't know. You let me know what you think.
MAGA's revolting against Donald Trump for posting himself as God.
Why?
Trump made a post to social media of him as Jesus Christ healing somebody with his hands. So MAGA got tired of it and said, "You are not God." And now Christians and Catholics have also turned against Donald Trump, saying, "We need the 25th Amendment. You're out of control. I regret my vote."
Why would he post that?
Well, Trump was asked in an interview with a DoorDash lady where he said he posted it because he was saying he wasn't Jesus Christ, but he was a doctor. He had Jesus robes on and sparkles and glows coming from his hand touching someone's forehead.
Did he even have a stethoscope?
He didn't, but there was actually a doctor in the photo which looked nothing like him because he was wearing white robes. This makes him look even worse after the Iran war because MAGA was already regretting their vote after that. And even MAGA influencers have turned on him saying he needs to be impeached.
So who does Trump have left on his side?
The only people Trump has left on his side are the people he's allegedly paying off, which is senators and congressmen, which is who he thinks is all he needs so he can bypass and violate the Constitution without getting involved. And an impeachment, that's a means to an end because the people's vote is what counts on midterms and they can remove anyone they want.
How did it get this bad for?
Trump followed on none of his promises. He said no wars and started a war. He said he would release the Epstein files and then didn't release that and prosecuted nobody. He said he would fix the economy, then destroy the global economy multiple times. Lastly, he said he would lower the price of oil and everything skyrocketed.
So what's going to happen next?
Senators fear that Trump is going to start World War III if the other ones don't do anything about it. Let's do that! Everybody's against Trump, but we're still going to World War III 2020. Take it, buddy.
Okay. So a lot is up in the air right now. I just thought that was funny. Okay. So is this the golden age? Hold on.
Listen up. This is Apollo. Now listen to this.
On the Great Seal of the United States.
Good to see you, Anti. What's up, brother? Welcome in.
More importantly, the prophecy on the Great Seal, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, is taken from the Cumae Sibyl, a priestess of Apollo, who prophesied that at the end of time, Apollo would return to the earth and it would give birth to a new golden age. Well, the golden age in Greek mythology is when the gods and the demigods walked upon the earth. And her prophecy is not just that Apollo will return, but that it will give birth to a new race of people who have been merged with the gods. So again, the same kind of symbolism, but Apollo's father, according to her prophecy, is Jupiter. And if you look at ancient depictions of Jupiter, he is pulled through the heavens by two flying winged serpents.
Welcome to the golden age.
Yeah. All right. We'll dive a little bit deeper in this one.
Are y'all truly ready for this deep dive? Because it goes back decades. Didn't I just tell you last week that Apollo, Apollyon, Abaddon, Helios, Lucifer was coming back through the art he's making? What do you know? They're the same exact being. Hey, you remember when Marina Abramovich came out and said that Donald Trump was the highest ranking warlock in the world, basically? More on that in a second. So, of course, posted himself as Jesus. He admitted it himself earlier today. But in the same image, he added something from the last time this was posted. And now it's this creature, this thing right here. That's Apollo. Yes, in fact, the same exact deity that's on the arch. Some could call him Helios. Remember, Nero Caesar in the 1st century destroyed all the Christians there was, and he transformed into Apollo himself. He also had a mortal wound to the head by a sword. Y'all remember when Trump did not put his hand on the Bible? That was crazy. You know the parable of the goats and the sheep from the Bible, when the goats go to hell and the sheep go to heaven? We had this golden goat made for Trump with golden feet, golden horns. On the dollar bills, it says, "In Trump we trust." Y'all think this is the first time he put his name in the place of God? It's not. Of course, he made himself to be the Pope, and this is the second time he posted his image of him being Jesus. The red vesture because it's dipped in blood like Revelation, you know, for Jesus, the Alpha and the Omega. It's also odd because, you know, inversion from the occult, but of course we see the magician wearing red and that same exact thing that Trump was wearing too. Again, Satan loves inversions. Marina Abramovich said that Trump was putting a spell on the entire world. Read this real quick. If Trump did something to my daughters, I would forgive him because Jesus calls me to forgive. True, but watch this. It'd be the holiest act of love I could ever choose, but I would still politically support him as my president. Yes. Brother, what? After he violated your daughter? Hold on.
What's up, Ryan? What's up, brother? Welcome in. It's nutty out here, bro.
Now check this out. After he posted himself as Jesus, he posted Trump Tower. The Trump Tower is pretty significant itself on top of the moon. I've been telling y'all for years he's the moon child, was born right under the blood moon. The same one that Aleister Crowley started the rituals, I believe, in the 20s, going to the Babylon working in the 40s. Let me refresh your memory. The moon child will rule by liberty. And by liberty, he will destroy the Black Brotherhood. The Black Brotherhood to these demons is Christianity. He just happens to have the word of peace when they say peace and safety, a strong parallel. He's signing Bibles not just now, but in 2019 as well. This was a real picture published in the Time magazine, which, by the way, people are like, oh, he fell for the AI image. Of course it's an AI image. Who has to friggin' tell you it's an AI image if it's a cartoon? And for some reason, people have been seeing this beast, this Apollo, this Helios, this Abaddon, this Apollyon, this Lucifer, this Lightbringer in their dreams. If you've been watching me the last few years and you're caught up, you know what I'm saying. I've been warning about all this stuff for years. If you're confused, the YT video is about to go up, and it goes a lot deeper, especially in the Trump Tower and the 666 Fifth Avenue. All you gotta do is search Real Moon Henry. But of course, don't mind me, shoot the messenger.
That's right. That's what they do. All right. Let's see. All right.
In 1 hour.
In fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
He just said in 1 hour that country will become desolate. That's all in Revelation 18, where it says in 1 hour there will be judgment and that everything will come to naught. In 1 hour to the great city, Babylon.
Take them out by this afternoon. In fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
We're at war right now with the Babylonian Empire.
And all these places right here are exactly what they're talking about in Revelation chapter 18. Babylon was huge. This is happening right now. There's a whole lot of finger pointing going on. And just remember, when all those people strike back against them, they ought to be pointing their finger in the Bible right here where it says God will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken. It's God right there. And it says that I may assemble the kingdoms.
Sorry, y'all. All right. Let's see.
In 1 hour.
All right. Shifting gears a little bit. Tribunal of Truth.
Introducing objection. The first.
Hold on.
This might just be the most disturbing new development in AI.
Introducing objection. The first AI tribunal. Former CIA and FBI agents will investigate. They gather evidence and make it public, permanently. The AI tribunal checks the record and renders the verdict. From the team that bankrupted Gawker, mastermind Aaron D'Souza and investor Peter Thiel, comes objection. Truth isn't what goes viral, it's verified. File an objection.
Yeah, I don't know. That gives me the heebie-jeebies just watching that thing. Like, it's that whole video, sus as hell. They're calling it the Tribunal of Truth. Objection, a new technology platform founded by entrepreneur Aaron D'Souza and backed by investors including Peter Thiel and Balaji Srinivasan, has launched with an explicit mandate to subject the media's claims to systemic investigation and judgment by artificial intelligence. The system combines investigators such as former FBI, NSA, and CIA professionals, adversarial evidence review, and finally, AI adjudication. Wow, so basically AI fact-checking funded by the Antichrist to protect his brethren, we shall say.
Okay. So an AI judge. Does that remind anybody? There's a Chris Pratt movie that just came out, Mercy. Okay. Man, you think they're not telling us stuff in the movies? Plain sight, baby. Best place to hide something. All right, now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the economy that everyone feels so good about. Isn't that what Besant said? Besant said they feel good.
What is your expectation for how much we're possibly going to end up spending on that? And what are the implications all of this will have on the deficit this year, next year, going forward?
We realize what the administration has asked for so far is a $500 billion increase in the military. We spend $1 trillion, so that's a 50% increase in 1 year. That would be $500 billion if they got it. But there are other reports saying they want $200 billion as a supplemental. So 500 plus 200 is $700 billion. We're already running a $2 trillion deficit. So that's a 30-some-odd% increase in the debt in 1 year. Our threat is not from foreign countries invading the U.S. Our threat is from the destruction of our dollar. Our threat is from the debt. And people need to realize this because these are add-ons. Institutionally, though, the spending, the mandatory spending around here that goes on year in, year out without any kind of oversight, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, all the welfare programs, Social Security, all of that stuff goes on year in, year out. That consumes all of the revenue. And then we have military and other discretionary spending as an add-on. This is the problem we face, and we're looking outwards for things, and we need to be looking inward for the enemy because the enemy is those destroying the dollar with debt.
Congressman Arrington, though.
All right, this just in. Former Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson calls on U.S. authorities to prepare for a vicious bond crash. Bond crash. All right, this is America's top sniper, former top sniper, on energy warfare. $20 gas.
Gonna make your country go broke. Your country go broke. No one's gonna have shit. F the oil. I'm gonna light it all on fire. I'm gonna destroy my infrastructure. Just make everybody feel it. You'll start seeing war on the streets when that gas hits $20 a gallon.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have a world war. You'll have one here. You don't give a shit about a world war. That electricity won't even be on. You can't afford that to even turn on the news to find out there's a world war. You got to go fight your neighbor. You got to go up the street. You got to go rob a store for whatever goods they have, because bread costs $50, $20. You want a peanut butter jelly sandwich, you're going to have to go kill somebody for it. Everybody's got morals while they got money in their pocket. But as soon as the money's gone, you'll see how many morals you really have as a society. That shit goes out the window. That's one of the first things that's going to go out the window. F the truth. Your morals is going to go out the window. You will steal. You will lie. You will cheat. You will to eat, to survive.
Yeah. You know, even as you're talking, I'm like, my God, this is biblical. You know, I pray that it doesn't come down to this point.
We all should. We all should.
Like, but as we all know, self-preservation, that's the first law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
There is another part of the world that cannot afford for us to control that oil.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't. You know, then we're playing an entire different game. I mean, it's energy warfare.
That's right. Is it coming? How far out are we on is America on the verge of collapse?
All empires fail, and he lists the 7 stages of an empire, and all empires last about 250 years. Pinnacle where they start the decline is in education. When the education switches from epistemology, how do we know what we know? That's education. This is what Jesus is trying to teach the disciples. He didn't come to tell them what to do. He came to show them how to know what to do. You hear God, you see God. That's how you know what to do. And so there's no formula to it. It's about abiding and listening and understanding identity. And so when education switches from how do we know what we know, what's our way of knowing things and is it right, to how do we get the highest paying jobs? In 9th century Assyria, education switched from, we don't care how we know things, how do I get the highest paying job? What happens is all the service professions die. There's no serving anymore. It's just about accumulation of wealth. The final stage of the collapse of the empire is led by celebrities and athletes. They're not public servants anymore. They're not prophets. They're famous people, right? And this culture is distracted by entertainment and sports. That's in the 9th century. They were saying that. It's like, tell me where the United States is in this. We're right at the edge of the end.
I wonder what in the Fate of Empires he meant by infatuation with athletes and celebrities in the British Empire in this pre-mass media age. I mean, it's evident now that celebrity and athleticism problematic precisely because they celebrate individualism as opposed to identity. That's not to say there aren't amazing team sports, but even those team sports become peculiar emblems of individual identity.
Okay. All right. If the U.S. produces so much oil, why is gas so expensive?
Dino, why is gas here so high in America if we have enough oil and gas to supply ourselves? Why do we care so much about the oil coming out of Hormuz?
That's not how the global oil market or global commodity markets work. There is a global market price. Everybody has to pay that price for the oil because it's a global commodity. That's it. It's traded globally. And the price is fixed based on what the market price is. And right now with the supply shock in Strait of Hormuz, Iran conflict, whatever, right? It's reduced the supply. So the global market price per barrel is like $100 right now when it used to be like $60, right? And everybody has to pay that price for the oil. When people say that, oh, the US is energy independent because we produce more, right, than we consume, it's true. We can produce more oil than we consume. But that has got nothing to do with what we have to pay for that oil. Nothing to do with it. It's just a physical independence, you know? And it's kind of interesting too, because this country's oil refinery infrastructure is really old. It can only process heavy crude, which is not what we're producing a lot of. So literally what you could see, what we produce in shale oil and all that is light crude, but we don't have refining capacity. So you would literally see ships leaving the US with our oil and then ships coming in with somebody else's oil, because our refinery infrastructure capacity can only refine that kind of oil for gasoline. That's it's part of the reason why everybody pays the market price. So you think of it this way, right? What can you do about it? Oh, some people will say like, the government can come in and intervene and like, oh, you can't export the oil, you have to sell it to your own people. What's that going to do? It's going to ruin the industry. No one will want to extract oil anymore. No one will want to be in the oil business anymore because they can't make the money, right? Like if you have a lot of gold, would you sell it cheaper because you have a lot of it? God, no, you will sell it to the highest price, which is the market price. These companies are for-profit companies. It's a whole industry that's there for profits. They're not going to just do not sell it to the US only for a cheaper price. That doesn't work. Doesn't make sense. And then you can't ban the exports. It's the same thing. You're intervening in a free market. It's not going to work, right? Your refining capacity, your refining capability is mismatched. These are all the reasons why it's expensive. But the biggest reason really is it's a global commodity. You pay what the market price is. It doesn't matter how much you produce at all. That's how it works.
Well, I'm glad I found that clip, because that's what I was saying like a week or two ago. I was like, people in response to the oil price per barrel going up, they're like, we produce more oil than anyone else combined. I heard people telling me that. Let's see. Tim Burkett calls out the real reason behind skyrocketing gas prices in America.
Sending my daughter to school next year, but the reality is, they're ripping us off. Diesel is like the second cut they take off it when it comes out of the ground. I think it goes kerosene and diesel and then gasoline, and diesel is the most expensive. And I'm sure they can make they'll bring out the economic experts, to cover themselves on that. Another thing that really ticks me off about it is that they've when the price of oil, like they say, well, it's this whatever happens overseas is causing this to happen. But then when you go to the hardware store or the auto parts store and you buy a quart of oil, guess what? The price hasn't gone up. The price of the gasoline in the tank is going up, and that's gasoline that is probably months from it was in the ground, and then it was converted into gasoline at a refinery. So the whole thing is just ridiculous. It's greed, and eventually we're going to come to a point in technology, say coal turning coal into oil and gasoline, as the Germans did during the Second World War. But guess what? The technology hasn't advanced since then. It's still cheaper just to get oil out of the ground than to convert coal, which we have a lot of. And how much oil does America get from Iran? Zero. That's how much. This is a scam, and these oil companies, shame on them. They're using this opportunity to make record profits once again. So you got to ask yourself, even if we were getting it, what about the stuff that's already in the pipeline, that's already been paid for, the gasoline that's in the tank at your neighborhood filling station? How does it go up exponentially when something happens overseas? It's a scam. Gasoline goes up like a rocket and it comes down with a parachute and it never gets back down to where it should be. Technology, all that technology in the world, we're going to eventually figure out how to crack that hydrogen molecule and run our cars off of water, I think. I don't care what the scientists tell you right now. They tell you all this stuff. It's, well, a man couldn't run a 4-minute mile, can't go 100 miles an hour in an automobile, you can't breathe. We're not going to go to the moon. Tim Burchett's not going to get elected to Congress. You hear all those things. Guess what? They happened. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here. Pray for our country.
Pray for our country, indeed. All right. Yeah, this dude explains everything well and seems intelligent. All right. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink admits defeat at the World Economic Forum. The world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. You better believe it.
This is the largest gathering of global leadership of the post-COVID period of time. For many people, this meeting feels out of step with the moment. We hear all about the elites. And how does that play out in an age of populism? How does an established institution make a difference in an era of deep institutional mistrust? And there's some truth to the critique. I believe in this forum for a long time. I certainly wouldn't be leading this if I didn't believe that we can change and make the world better. But it's also obvious that the world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, it has to regain that trust.
I like the position I can remain optimistic while also acknowledging, I'm just not full of hopium. I can see what it is, be a realist, but my trust is in the Most High. Everything could burn down all around us, and I'm still going to be trusting on Him to take care of me. So I guess that's, I can pay attention to what's going on without lying to myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be living in this. It's always been like this. It's not like it's getting better as things go on. You know what I'm saying? Dopey dude, what's up? What's up? I'm sorry I missed you. Watchman for you. In Iran, gas is 22 cents a gallon. Holy crap. How's that even possible? All right, now looks like we might be moving to Tennessee. Tennessee governor. Okay. This is crazy. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has signed a bill declaring June as Nuclear Family Month and not Pride Month. I mean, there's a win. Okay. That's a blessing. There's some good news. Okay. Makes me want to move to Tennessee. Also, no state tax. Ain't that right? I don't remember which one it was. Also, breaking, White House prepares to give U.S. agencies access to Anthropic's Claude Mythos model, which is not just some little thing. Claude Mythos is a highly advanced AI model developed by Anthropic, known for its exceptional capabilities in cybersecurity, coding, and reasoning. It has been described as the most capable AI model ever built, with benchmarks showing it outperforms other models in identifying and exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities autonomously. So it doesn't need any human help. So it can, so 0 day. I've been hearing a lot of talk about 0 day. There was a Netflix show, I believe, about the 0 day, which is weird because that seems to be what they're worrying about. Now, let's back it up just a second here. The White House is preparing to give U.S. agencies access to Anthropic's Claude Mythos model. Now, the only reason I'm saying let's back up is because, what was it, 2 weeks ago or a month ago, Claude and Anthropic, everyone was told to take it, like everyone that worked for the federal government was told to remove their software immediately, and that they were threatening Anthropic with being a national security threat because the Pentagon was using Claude Anthropic AI. Okay. It's so crazy how much is going on that people have no idea. So 0 day, that's what I wanted to look into. All right. So basically, it's a massive cyber attack. Okay. Specifically in the U.S. And that's exactly what the heads of AI are kind of talking about right now. Prepare for cyber pandemic that makes COVID look like small disturbance by halting our power supply, transportation, and hospitals. Let's see. So we're going to hear Klaus Schwab talk about it first. And this is years ago. Klaus Schwab's at this point has stepped down from the World Economic Forum. He's the guy that said, eat the bugs, and he was big into the pandemic stuff.
The frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole.
In the next year, we will see significant threats we have to mitigate from cyber.
The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber epidemic.
There could well be a world-shaking cyber attack this year that would get people's attention. It sounds like you agree with that.
I think that's totally possible. Yes.
Okay. We'll hear it more clearly. I don't know if we'll play the whole thing. OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman theorizes a large-scale cyber attack this year due to AI's advancement.
I would expect that with the next class of models, you start to see people say,
hold on,
this helped me make the most important discovery of my decade or maybe my career. So that kind of level, like, maybe not winning a Nobel Prize on its own, but like a significant career defining discovery. On the kind of knowledge work side, I suspect that, current models you hear people say maybe they're like twice as productive or 3 times as productive as they used to be as a coder. And maybe you'll start to hear people say, I'm able to do like the work of a whole team with these tools. So if it's, me and X 100 GPUs, we can do the work of a whole software team. So that's quite significant. On the scary side, the main areas we currently track in our preparedness framework are cybersecurity, bio, and actually, in the interest of time, let me stop at those 2. I suspect in the next year, we will see significant threats we have to mitigate from cyber. And these models are already quite capable and will get much more capable. And then on bio, this is something we've been talking about a lot. The models are clearly going to get very good at helping people do biology at an advanced level. Wonderful things are going to happen there. We'll see a bunch of diseases get cured. Someone is going to try to misuse those. And for now, when the model...
Misuse meaning likely using AI's help to make biological weapons, as it was.
The frontier models are all sort of in the hands of pretty responsible companies. I think we can mitigate those by the companies aligning the models and having good classifiers and good safety stacks. But we're not that far away from a world where there are incredibly capable open source models that are very good at biology. And the need for society to be resilient to terrorist groups using these models to try to create novel pathogens is that's no longer a theoretical thing, or it's not going to be for much longer. So part of the reason that we are trying to push also in this blueprint ideas around societal resilience is a realization that AI safety in a world with powerful AI cannot be done by the companies alone.
When you mentioned cyber in the next year, something that Jim and I have heard a lot from the AI companies is there could well be a world-shaking cyber attack this year that would get people's attention. It sounds like you agree with that.
I think that's totally possible. Yes. I think to avoid that, it will require a tremendous amount of work, also in a sort of resilient style approach. Again, it's not just like make one AI model safe. It is defenders. We have this thing called the Trusted Access Program, other companies have other things, but cybersecurity companies, the major platforms, the governments using this technology to try to rapidly secure their systems, the open source stack, all of that. That's quite important now.
All right, Lord willing, nothing crazy happens. He's going to be the one that does the attack. No, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Okay. Breaking: Netflix founder Reed Hastings to step down from board. Seeing a lot of that come across the news today. Okay. Follow us over on X at Still Unspecific. Been seeing a lot of just crazy stuff, and we're posting it all over there all day. I've got this really crazy situation. Pete Hegseth quotes fake Bible verses from Pulp Fiction. Now, the movie, and I'm quite the Quentin Tarantino movie fan. All right, I don't know about you guys, but Pulp Fiction, obviously one of my favorite movies. Samuel L. Jackson's character quotes a known fake Bible verse. People have tried to look it up. It's not real. And the scene where he's about to shoot, every time Samuel L. Jackson's character is about to execute somebody, he says this fake Bible verse. And it's crazy. Somebody had caught that Pete Hegseth said that at a prayer sermon.
So guys, we're moving into the next phase of clown world. I'll call this clown world Christianity. What do I mean by that? Thinking that it's okay to bomb other people, that we're going to restore our freedom, and that we are justified with God by doing this. This is Pete Hegseth now quoting fake Bible verses from Pulp Fiction, the movie, in a Pentagon sermon. And you should see the people as if this is real, because they don't actually know their scriptures. They don't actually know their Bible. This is clown world Christianity next level.
So the prayer is Caesar 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please.
The path
of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with...
So I don't know if I can play the whole clip, okay? But you get it. All right. It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. Cringy, weird, clown world for sure. Okay, seriously. Seriously, some next level. This guy, he's not wrong. This guy's not wrong. But in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and move on. All right. I have just a couple of more clips here. Tonight's just a short one. I just wanted to say what's up, you guys. Real life is getting real out here. Okay, so obviously you're seeing a little bit less of us. We're trying to do the best we can between the things going on outside of, our normal sit down time to do the podcast. So pray for us that we keep it all in order, and we'll have time to sit down and hang out. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch here. All right. How do you know God's will for your life?
How do you know the will of God? First point, God's will is clearly expressed in the Bible. That's why you got to read it for yourself, and I got to read it for myself. Read the Bible. That's one of the key ways to know what God's will for you is in life. Secondly, pray. Prayer is talking to God, developing that back and forth, that conversational approach with God, a personal relationship of intimacy. Pray. That's the second way you know what the will of God is. Thirdly, the psalmist writes, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I always have a sad feeling for a person who says, I want to do this, but that means God must want me to do the opposite. No, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. In other words, as we delight in him, our desires swing into line with the will of God. Fourthly, be part of Christian community. Ask other people, what do you think I should do? I'm facing this decision. Give me wise counsel. Next point. When you have to make a decision and you're not sure, God is saying to you, use your common sense, use your rational thinking, use the best way you can to make this decision, and then confident that God is leading you, make it.
Paul says in 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, he says, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. That's the foundation right there. Guys, you grow in joy, you pray continually, and you give thanks in all circumstances. Look, if you do that, you're growing in happiness, fulfillment, you're growing in an understanding of how to treat people, you're growing in hope. That's God's will for you. Don't just jump to, what do I have to do in this life? What's my work going to be like? Am I going to have kids? Who am I going to marry? Lay the foundation of joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, and that's God's will for you in Christ Jesus.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Like those guys. All right. Got another one here. The importance of reading your Bible.
A few years
Amen. 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 All right. All right, you guys. All right. I'm going to have to go hit the road here. All right. Got a little bit of work calling. Thank the Lord. It's a blessing. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this brief episode. Okay. It's brief, not as long as normal, but that's all right. All right. Lord willing, everything will shake out and we'll be able to get back to normal a little bit here. It is absolute clown world out there, guys, but don't look. No need. Just because we look and we can be honest with what the reality of the situation that is absolute upside down, backwards insanity going on, that doesn't mean that we have to lose hope or freak out or go crazy. God is still good, okay, all the time. And I highly encourage you, through his son Jesus, go to him, okay, all the time, okay? Get in your Bibles. I need to get in mine more, okay? I had a pretty good little thing going where I was reading the Bible and then working out, and I kind of slacked up on reading. I need to go back to reading some more, okay? We need to be reading in the Word. We need to be, really, really trying for a connection to the Father, okay? Because that's absolutely key, especially in these days. And I just think they're just going to get crazier. We might have a blip, little, temporary patch of some goodness coming, and that would be a blessing. And I pray that is what's coming, is just awesomeness, okay? But we also know what we know, okay? And that there's plenty of fellas in high places that don't want good for us. And we wrestle not against flesh and blood, okay? So just try to remember that as things get weird or crazy. Lord willing, they get better. And we will catch you guys on the next one. All right, everybody. Bobby Broadway, good to see you, brother. I'm on my way out. I'm going to go hit the road, help somebody unlock their car. All right. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to send you out on this awesome new intro, outro. Much love, everybody. Y'all have a blessed one. We'll catch you on the next one.
We're following some breaking news right now. Check this out.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.